What's up, my people? What a great day to be alive wherever you are, whatever you're doing while you're watching this. Welcome. This purpose of this video is to help you with kind of a strategy in solving quadratics by factoring, specifically in the case where you have a quadratic trinomial where your a value is something other than 1. Okay, so this is just one technique that I've seen that works well for students. So if you don't have a good technique that you feel comfortable with factoring quadratics, it's really important that you find one that you're comfortable with. So here's an example of a problem that you'd be given. So it says solve 8x squared minus 50x plus 77 equals 0 by factoring. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to show you one way to solve this. And if you have a different way that you like better, it's totally fine. The purpose of this is to kind of help those of you that don't have a method that you really like or that works well for you. The purpose is to kind of help you find something that works for you. Okay? So here we go. What you're going to need and what I'm going to use is, well, you don't really need it, but I'm going to use a graphing calculator to help us with this as well. So let me get that cleared out there. Okay, so I'll be using that as we go. So if you have your calculator, grab that and we'll go from there. All right, so here's the basic setup. When I see something like this, the first thing that I do is draw a tic-tac-toe board or tic-tac-toe, an empty tic-tac-toe chart. And here's what I do here. The first thing that I do in this top left box is I'm going to write, let me get my marker right here, I'm going to write the a value. So the a value here is 8. Then in this next box, I'm going to write the c value. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those two values and I'm going to multiply them to see what number goes here. So I'm going to do 8 times 77. So we'll do 8 times 77. And we get 616. So that's what I'm going to put here. I'm going to put 616 here. Again, I multiply the a value by the c value. So I put my a value here, my c value here, and multiplied. Now here's the next trick. What I want to do with these next two boxes here is for these next two numbers, I want these two numbers to multiply to give me 616, but add up to give me negative 50. So two numbers that multiply to give me 616, and multiply those two numbers to equal 616, but I want them to add up to negative 50. So you can do some guessing and checking there if you'd like. But there's actually a little trick that might be beneficial for you on your calculator. So if you go to your graphing calculator and you go to your y equals screen, if you for y1 graph the product 616 divided by x, and then if you go down to y2 and do that same expression, 616 divided by x plus x, that's going to help you identify which factors add up, which factors multiply to give you 616 and add up to negative 50. So then you want to go to your table, and what we're looking for there is we're going to look through y2, and we're going to try to find in y2 where we get a sum of negative 50. So as I'm going down, you see that the y2 values are getting bigger, so that probably is an indication I need to be going the other direction. So let's see here. If I keep scrolling this way, I'm looking for negative 50. I'm going to have to keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. So those numbers are gradually getting smaller. That's taking way too long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to second table set, and I'm going to start my table at 1 and see if that does it any better. Okay, so again, I'm looking for, okay, so there are some negative numbers there. All right, I'm looking for y2, remember, to be negative 50. I'm getting closer. I'm getting real close. There it is. Okay, everybody see that? So the two numbers that I'm going to use here is negative 22 and negative 28. The product of negative 22 and negative 28 is going to be positive 616, and the sum will be negative 50. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my tic-tac-toe board, and I'm going to have negative 22. And what do we say? It was negative 28. All right, so now here's the next challenge. Okay, the next challenge that you have is you want to go through and you want to multiply from left to right, and you also want to multiply from bottom to top. So basically what that means is the number that goes in the bottom left, let me show you, this number here and this number here need to multiply to give you 8, but they also need to multiply left to right to give you negative 28 and negative 22. Okay, so if you think about the factors of 8, we can do 8 times 1, but I can't put an 8 in this box here because is 8 a factor of negative 22? No, it's not. Okay, well what about down here? Can I put an 8 down here? The answer to that's no again, because 8 is not a factor of negative 28. Therefore, I can't do 8 times 1, so my only other option here is 4 times 2. So then I have to figure out, does the 4 go right here? So then you ask, is 4 a factor of negative 22? And no, it's not. So that means bottom left needs to be the 4, and this box here needs to be a 2. Well, if this box here is a 2, what does this box in the middle need to be? 2 times what equals negative 22? It's negative 11. Okay? Then what we have next is 4 times what equals negative 28, and that's negative 7. Now just to be sure, look at this column here, and we have negative 7 times negative 11 does equal 77. Okay, so we're in a really good spot right now. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take these two diagonals here and we're going to circle them. Okay, so then those circled diagonals are what are going to be the two binomials that this is going to factor to. Okay, so what we have here is this first column here, we're going to assign an x after each one of those numbers, and we're going to write out our diagonals. So this first diagonal is 2x minus 7. The second diagonal is 4x minus 11. Remember that this still equals 0. So basically, this tic-tac-toe method helped us be able to relatively quickly factor something that was on the surface pretty complicated. Now don't remember that the directions still ask you to solve this equation. So what we still have to do next is we have to take each one of these factors and set each factor individually equal to 0. Minus 11 equals 0. And simply go through and solve for x. So in this case, we'll add 7 and divide by 2, so we get x equals 7 halves. On the second one, we add 11, divide by 4, and you get x equals 11 fourths. There are your solutions. So again, like I said, this is just one way to help you factor a quadratic function where your a value is something different than 1. If you like this, awesome, practice this more and use it. If you don't like this, hey, good luck finding something that does work for you. Like I said, it doesn't matter how you do this, just so long as you find a method that works the best for you. All right, that's it for me. I will see y'all later.